Hey, it is January the 16th. Still no movement on that Ventura County website. I don't know if the judge is going to approve my request to move up the date to the 28th, which is in, less than 2 weeks. But my guess is maybe, just maybe, he's waiting to determine whether or not he's going to approve my request based on whether or not she shows up tomorrow at her son's hearing. So, I don't know. I just know at this point in time, still no movement on the Ventura County website. And of course, I'm also going to be checking that website to see if she shows up there tomorrow. And, if she does show up there, then obviously she's available to show up on January the 28th, which is the date I'm seeking. And I'm thinking that maybe the judge that needs to approve my request to move up that court date, he's probably curious as to whether or not she shows up to her son's court date tomorrow as well, because, she did not put in for a postponement. And, supposedly she had surgery, so if nothing else, I think everybody's curious as to whether or not she's going to show up in a double sling. Good morning. It is 8 a.m. and doing dishes, taking out the trash, what have you, and just took note, the vehicle is still there. And, well, it's 8 a.m. Court takes place at 9 a.m. and it's an hour away, so if my neighbor is going to that courthouse, she probably should get going soon. Yes, January 17th. 2019, it still shows it as scheduled. So, if her son is showing up and she doesn't show up, I'll feel bad for him, even though he owes her money. Just because it's just no fun going to a courthouse and then having the person that is forcing you to be in that courthouse and not be there, I'm not sure what's going on right now, but I did see the vehicle take off at 9:15, so either running totally late or what, I don't know. But I am here at the Ventura County website where, I'm looking to see if she showed up to that courthouse today or not in regards to her son. And I noted that future events, it's gone. It doesn't even show that it took place. It still shows that it was scheduled to take place at 1:17. But at this point in time, it just shows future events. Nothing, not. And I'm over here at the minutes. The last minutes that were recorded were on 11/2, November. So I'll check back later today and see if the minutes are recorded later today as to whether or not everybody was there or it was a no-show by everybody or something. But that part where it says future events is no longer reflecting that there was a court date, expected today. So, and here it's in the past events, 1/17/2019. It shows it as scheduled. But, later today, I'll check. Maybe it'll take place after 5 p.m., whatever. But at some point, it's going to show whether it was heard, vacated, or, it'll reflect the minutes of what transpired, whether or not anybody showed up or not. I just know, I'm sitting here on pins and needles and I'm stalking the Ventura County website. And since I'm here at the website, I decided to go ahead and check mine to see if there's any movement. But nope, still no movement. Still shows me scheduled to go in there on 2/11/2019. But I'll be keeping close tabs on this website today. Kathleen Curtis, defendant number 3, no longer at this address. Please forward or return to sender. See? I knew it. Fortunately, my neighbor did indeed write that on this envelope, so I have that to show to the judge when I eventually get into that courtroom. Hey, I just realized that, this is January the 17th, 2019. technically, this would have been Andy Kaufman's 70th birthday. Wow. So, you know, the least I can do is wear his t-shirt, right? Okay, I've been sitting on pins and needles long enough. I want to call the courthouse and see if maybe I can get any information on whether or not the approval for my moving the court date up has been announced. Will be forwarded to the judge, and he'll have the audio, but I should bring it just in case. Okay, and then, okay, but like I said, the stuff that's in evidence, I don't have that one copy of the paper, the declaration from the roommate number 3, because I only had one copy of it. So it's in the evidence room. Okay, so I just spoke to the clerk, and we both agreed that vexatious litigant thing, you know, it's really not worth my pursuing at this time, you know, if I want to pursue it later, because it really doesn't benefit me, because, yeah, it'll benefit people who come after me. And also, and I opened the door by saying that word and filling out the form, so everybody's aware that I'm a little concerned about my neighbor. And also that my, I guess, evidence is not going to be touched. It's staying there. It's going to be given to the judge. She doesn't believe I even have to stop at the evidence room to pick it up. And that the audio and all of that will be there. But she said, just bring it with you in case, you know, in case. But hopefully I'll know something soon regarding whether or not the judge is going to approve my request to move it up to January the 28th. But still no confirmation at this point. Okay, so it is officially the end of the night, January 17th, and still no movement on the Ventura County Courthouse website regarding my case or my neighbor's son's case that took place today. You know, I'm still hoping that by tomorrow the judge will approve my request to move my court date up to the 28th. But if not, well, it'll take place, I guess, on February the 11th. And hopefully by tomorrow I'll know what happened in the courthouse today regarding my neighbor and her son. You know, yesterday, my neighbor was scheduled to show up at her son's court date. And today is January the 18th, the day after. I was looking to see whether or not she showed up. I did note that the vehicle did not leave until about 9:15 in the morning, which would have made it late for court. But, you know, I was under the impression that she was running late for court. So anyway, here we are. We're at the Ventura County website, of course, and the minutes just got posted. And it states that no appearance by any of the parties. That means her son didn't show up, and she didn't show up. And prior to the court convening, the court received a message from the judgment creditor, my neighbor, that she is recovering from surgery and will not be present. Okay, now, again, I'm not saying she didn't have the surgery, but I have not seen any confirmation of her in a double sling. And had she shown up to this court date, there would have been that confirmation of her being in a double sling. But that's okay. You know, she didn't show up at her son's court date, and she called the morning of, and I'm guessing because she already saw my paperwork pointing out that she had not postponed her son's trial, that I would be happy to be there on that date. And I'm still hoping for January the 28th, but at this point in time, it's not showing it's going to happen. It's still looking like February the 11th. And, I'm not really available on that date, but I guess I'll have to make myself available if that's the only date they're going to have it on. But I am hoping still for January the 28th. But I do find it just slightly suspicious that my neighbor calls the morning of saying that she's recovering from surgery and will not be in court. Like I said, she didn't postpone this court date when she postponed mine, knowing she was having that surgery. And at this point in time, I don't think she's had the surgery. I really don't, because she's not in optimum health, because she was taken away in an ambulance, a few days prior to that elective shoulder surgery that she stated she was getting, which is why she had to postpone my court date, but did not, for some reason, need to postpone her son's court date. And now, so she read that part. I don't know. Maybe she figured it would be better not to show up at the court date, and then that way nobody would notice that she wasn't in a double sling. I just know I still haven't had any confirmation she's in a double sling. And I haven't seen her. But, I do see the grandson, running around. But, yeah, and oddly, her son didn't show up at this trial either. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I just know that she did not show up to her son's trial, even though she had not postponed it at the time she postponed mine. And she's using the reason being she's recovering from surgery. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so at this point in time, my court date is February the 11th. It was a busy day at work today. It really was. So, yeah, I came home and sat down at the computer just to see if there was anything reflecting what happened yesterday in the courthouse. And, well, I see what didn't happen. So since nobody showed up at this court date, it says the court finds orders that no appearance by judgment creditor. The matter is taken off calendar. Yeah, no appearance by anybody. But, okay, she didn't appear because she's recovering from surgery. I just know that my court date is still February the 11th. 2019, Kelly versus Crosnoe. And I'm definitely planning on asking her, when did she have her bilateral shoulder replacement surgery? Part of me thinks I probably shouldn't have wrote that part in there under my request to move up that court date to her son's court date, because she saw that. So, maybe that played into this. I don't know. I just know that she did not show up to her son's court date. And her son didn't show up to the son's court date either. Maybe she called him and said, look, I'm not going to be there. Or something, just to save him the trip. It was just kind of, odd that neither of them showed up yesterday. And her reason being that she is recovering from surgery. So yeah, when I finally do get into that courthouse, whether it's the 28th or February the 11th, which is the date she had it moved to, I'm going to ask, when did she have that surgery? What kind of surgery did she have? Who's your doctor? The one thing that really makes me think that that surgery did not take place is the mere fact that I have not, one, seen her sporting that double sling, but also, because, you would think that if she really had that surgery, she'd make sure I saw her in that double sling. But mainly, I haven't seen a therapist, a physical therapist, show up at that house. And when I had my bilateral hip replacement surgery, I had a physical therapist that showed up at this house and a nurse that showed up at this house every single day for the first 3 weeks after I had the surgery to check on me, to make sure my vitals were still good, to make sure I was recovering, you know, and definitely haven't seen a nurse or a therapist show up next door. So that makes me question whether or not the surgery actually transpired. So yeah, at this point in time, there's a lot of questions I have. One, you know, did my neighbor actually have that surgery? And if so, what surgery did she have? Two, did I mess up by sending a note to the judge asking for my court date to be moved up due to the fact that she was available for her son's trial, which was only 7 days later? And, you know, the son didn't show up to his court date yesterday, and she didn't show up to her court date, with the reason being that she's recovering from surgery. Now, you know, like I said, I find it kind of odd that the son didn't show up. It's almost like as if she may have given him a call the night before and let him know, hey, I'm not going to be there. So don't show up. You know, and maybe it was easier for her to not show up due to having surgery than it was to show up and not have a double sling on. Like I said, I haven't seen any proof that she's had this surgery. I just know that she canceled my court date that she insisted I appear at 5 days prior to the surgery, or 5 days prior to the court date due to surgery, that her surgeon was only available on our court date. And I wrote to the judge asking to move up that date from February 11th to the 17th due to the fact that she was already going to be in court. And lo and behold, she didn't show up. And neither did the son. Like I said, maybe it's all just coincidence, right? But no matter what, it's going to be coming to an end here. And whether it ends in my favor or not, it's going to be coming to an end. Whether it's on the 28th, which is what I'm hoping for. But it doesn't look like I'm going to get that. You know, because it's only 10 days away at this point. But maybe something will change. And, or on February the 11th. But, one thing's for sure, yeah. It's got to be coming to an end here soon. I just don't know what day for sure. And, yeah. I knew something would happen regarding her son's court date yesterday. But I was kind of hoping actually she was going to show up and just, you know, let the judge know she was available to show up sooner.